Hey guys, welcome to Muscle Memory. My name is Malcolm. Today I have a very special guest. You'll see her a part of the last match of pro wrestling and rock theater musical combined together. It's going to be great. She'll make headlines wherever she goes, from the jewelry or from being a backstage interviewer in the WWE. McKenzie Mitchell, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you? Thank you for having me on here. I'm so excited.
Of course, of course. I mean, you seem like a very busy person. Like you do so much with content creation and whatnot. As we can see, you're in Booker T's office right now, reality wrestling.
I
How's
am,
life for
spoiler
you going?
alert, I have my show Threads that's on YouTube that has been extremely successful and it's just really taken off and I'm so thankful for that. So I'm actually in Houston. I filmed with Queen Charmel this morning, and so that episode is to come out. I'm doing Reality of Wrestling tonight. I'm the ring announcer and getting to meet the fans here in Texas. I'm really excited. Um, So yes, I'm always on the road. I'm always doing something. That's just always been in my blood, though. Since I was a little girl, my parents would joke that my middle name was actually Go because I was McKenzie Go Mitchell. I was wanting to go. I was wanting to do. I was wanting to create. And so I think we're kind of seeing that before our eyes now,
Yeah.
getting to do all of these things and expand my career.
Amazing. And like reality wrestling is great. I went there a few months ago. I got a chance to interview Booker in that office as well. Like great guy, love the promotion. They always have a great crowd, so I'm sure you're gonna enjoy the show tonight for sure. But like, let's talk about the last match. I mean, you're going to be Scarlett Sublime, I believe, is how you pronounce the name. What can we expect out of you a part of the last match compared to like what we know about you already from your time in WWE or even Impact Wrestling?
So, yes, I will be playing Scarlett Sublime. She's a very standard, typical 1980s play-by-play ball and strikes type commentator. I've never done commentary before, so I'm taking a book or a page out of my husband's book, so I'm getting to learn from him really. But it's different because it's theater, it's a musical, so there is a script that we're staying to for the most part, but there also is some fun with it. The very standard, typical like wrestling side is coming in as well of and this is a mixed tag team match and his tag team partner and getting to kind of combine those loves together is going to be really special. My commentary partner will be Strutting Jimmy Sutton, and he's kind of the Bobby the Brain Heenan. I'm Gorilla Monsoon. I'm keeping the train aboard on the tracks, keep it moving, and he's just kind of throwing some outlandish stuff, outlandish comments into the conversation. So it should be really fun. We've been rehearsing for the past few days,
Yeah.
and it's been really awesome to just get to meet people from all different walks of life. Wrestling does that anyways, but then now as we're adding in theater and musical and all these actors and actresses they're so talented, musicians to say as well. So we're really able to expand and blend all of these loves together for what's going to be a really, really cool and immersive experience.
How has like trying to like remember lines and whatnot been going for you so far? Do you have like a background in acting?
So actually, I've been signed as a model and an actress since I was just at the young age of 5. So I've always been, thank you, I've always been represented in that space as well. But now it's kind of putting a different cap on. I know the wrestling space very, very well, but now it's just taking myself into a different direction of the theater and the musical and the acting side of it, allowing myself to really embrace that and who that character of Scarlet Sublime is. We did our first table read. When was it? I guess it would have been Tuesday of this past week. And that was different because typically in wrestling, like you have a script, run of show, but this is 70 to 80 pages of lines that I'm having to remember. So it's a
Yeah.
completely different beast when it comes to taking and really immersing myself into that world. So it's been good. It's been a lot of doing my homework on the outside as well, not just when we're at rehearsals from 10 to 6. It's taking that and really becoming and trying to transform into that character.
When you think about like wrestling commentators in the past, and obviously the present as well, Vic Joseph, who are some of your favorite commentators of all time that's like been in this wrestling space?
So I have to give it to Michael Cole. I think he's just really transcended the world of commentary. I'm pretty biased when it comes to my husband as well.
Yes, of
I
course.
think Vic is phenomenal at what he does. And I think it's such a hard role that people don't really understand what commentary does a lot of the times because there's so many moving parts and you're having to make those moving parts come together and create synergy. And I think that that goes unnoticed sometimes when you're just watching a wrestling show or you're seeing it on television. So I give any commentator props for that because that's something that not a lot of people would know and know how to handle in those situations, and a lot do it very flawlessly. And I also have to say, like, I love Beth Phoenix. I loved when she
Yeah.
was kind of at the table at NXT and was that women's representation. Renee Young, she was one of the first females to really sit down and kind of take a grasp on that in the WWE world. And so that's what I'm really trying to channel as well in the last match is, in the 1980s, that female empowerment, it didn't necessarily exist. And to some degree today, you're still not seeing a ton of women on commentary. So it's kind of changing those norms a little bit, with some tongue in cheek. And then it's got the female empowerment that we love to see and that you want to root for the women. And so that's where I'm trying to channel that in the last match as Scarlet Sublime, taking those icons of commentary or those people that's the Beths, the Renees, and make that come to life in the character that I'll be playing.
It's amazing. You have to throw in a mention of Booker T also. I mean, that guy,
I
funny,
know, Book.
funny guy. Shucky
What is
ducky
it?
quack quack.
Champagne, caviar dreams and champagne wishes. Should I give Book that homage right here as we're in his office?
Amazing. Yeah, Booker's a hilarious guy. But even talking about like what your role in NXT at the time, like you were a backstage interviewer, you were doing so many different things. You hosted I believe it was What Next on YouTube and whatnot, which is an amazing show. Even looking at like your time within WWE, what do you take out of that experience now going into this new chapter of your life?
Growth. I think growth more than anything, and really learning who I am as an individual. Every phase of life, we all grow, we all expand, and we get to be different people, I think, as we grow and develop who we actually are later in life. When I started in wrestling at the young age of, gosh, was I 19, 20? Like I was young. And then now to see where I am almost a decade later, it's really crazy to see. It's really wild. And how much that McKenzie Mitchell has learned and became true to who she is. I think that's something that's developed over time, from TNA days to WWE to NXT to having my own shows. And now with Threads, it's combining all of those loves and getting to put that out there for everyone to see. And I feel the most authentic to who I am right now in the world that I'm living in.
You're doing absolutely amazing. I feel like
Thank
a lot of people that are watching this right now are probably on the wrestling like content creation side of people that want to break into the wrestling industry are trying to figure
you.
it out. How did you figure out your style of interviewing? Because I know a lot of people have different styles of how they go about talking to people and whatnot. How did you find your style?
I love this question because I think in wrestling, as an interviewer, as a correspondent, as just the backstage persona that we play, I think that people don't give enough credit to those interviewers and really what they bring to the table. And for me, I always wanted to be a fan's representation of what the fan was saying and how they were feeling and what emotion was being portrayed when we're doing these backstage segments, these promos, these interviews, because I think that helps connect an audience to the performer, to the superstar. And I think my role in that was really to develop those stories and to dig deep. And so the fan doesn't have to go like, wait, what's being told here?
Yeah.
I'm showing that through my nonverbal and the way that I'm communicating to the superstar. If they're a bad guy, like I'm not going to be like chummy and like hanging out with them on a regular basis. Right? It's acting in itself. And so I always tried to channel what the fans were thinking and what emotions they needed to get from the interview when we were doing these backstage interviews. I was really even to the T of going down and like writing down on a piece of paper, like, what's the emotion that you need to get out of this interview? Is it happy? Are we sad? Are we anxious? Is it a big moment? Are we waiting with bated breath to see if they'll win the championship? Like that's what I would always take and really kind of become that and who McKenzie Mitchell was on NXT.
Certainly. And I feel like you definitely were one of the few people at the time, and now we see more like personalities growing within like the backstage space or the commentating space. Someone as well as Samantha Irvine has been doing incredible work
Yeah.
herself at WrestleMania, did amazing. What's your thoughts on her and seeing like her progression so far within WWE?
I love it. I truly do. When Sam came in, I helped train her on some backstage interviewing skills because when she first came into NXT, she was down in Florida with her, Megan Morant, myself, and I was just kind of trying to help them learn then of like, here's the standard interview, but make it your own. Like, here's the tools, but then have the availability to just fluctuate and make it yours, because when it's your interview, it's your time to shine. And you may only have, hey, what are your thoughts? How do you transcend on television to where people are understanding that that's your personality in a matter of 5 seconds? Um, so I'm loving that Samantha's getting to use her. She's a singer, first and foremost. She's a musician, and she's getting to use her vocals and really expand who she is on television. And I think the world's getting to see that in front of their eyes and go like, there's a reason she's a musician. There's a reason that she's like writing music and she's singing and she's performing, because she is a performer. At the end of the day, we're all performers. We're all playing a role. It is a television show. And so it's really awesome to see Samantha do her thing.
Amazing. I know you worked within TNA and WWE. Have you ever caught the wrestling bug of wanting to actually step into the ring and actually compete?
I get this question all the time.
Sure you
And you
do.
know what? I actually, truth be told, I said when I was at rehearsals the other day for the last match, I actually thought, you know what? What if I just take a bump? What if I just go ahead and do a few, like, just see if I can get in the ring
Yeah.
and then put it on social media and see what people have to say about it. And you know, I don't know. I just don't think that's for me. I'm a better talker than I am a wrestler, I think so.
I understand. I trained for a few months, and one day I looked in the mirror, I was like, my back hurts. No thanks anymore.
Not for
Yeah.
me, not for me, right?
Yeah, sometimes you just got to keep on doing the talking. It's a lot
Yep.
easier on the body and whatnot. I understand. Do you have like a dream guest to be on Threads that you haven't talked to yet?
I'd love to get Ric Flair on
Ooh,
Threads. I mean, imagine all of the robes and all
yeah,
of the things that we could really bring to the table and talk about his years of experience and years of robes and a development of a character.
yeah.
I'd love to get Ric Flair. Me and Bianca Belair are going to do a future episode together, and I think that that will be awesome. The EST is queen, and so yeah, Bianca and Rick are two right off the bat that I'd love to have.
Oh yeah, because I mean their gear is absolutely amazing. Bianca makes all
Yes.
her stuff, which is just crazy that she is able to do all those kind of things and still wrestle. Like she's amazing.
Right? She is amazing.
Of course. To circle back to like the last match, how did this character like come to life? Like, where did it start from you being reached out to by the last match to now, oh, you're actually like one of the main stars, a part of the show.
Yeah, so Matt Cardona, he was part of the proof of concept of they did the small little run for the last match last year, and he played Alexander Swagger.
Yeah.
And so Matt being able to be that character, he had mentioned, he texted me one day and he said, "Hey, can you sing?" I said, "Well, when I was younger, I did. I would sing like when I was in pageants and just it for fun, and I did some vocal lessons. So yes, I can, but it's just not kind of my forte anymore." He was like, "I think you'd be perfect for the last match." He was like, "Wait, you wouldn't even have to sing if you were Scarlet Sublime." So he kind of put that little like hint out there, reached out to Jeremiah and team with the last match. And then Mickey James, a few weeks, a month later, was like, "Hey, I'm doing the last match. I think this would be really cool for you." So it was kind of a double whammy of Matt Cardona and Mickey James. And then they brought it to the team for the last match. And they said, "Well, I guess we need to interview her, and see if it works." And so it did, and I've just been really trying to kind of figure out that world, and I have so much respect for the theater side of things too, because I know wrestling, like I've said, but I think the theater side and that different musician, like the musical side of things, is so different for me. So I've been really thankful to land this role and to see what I can do with Scarlet Sublime.
I'm excited to see it, honestly. I'll be going out to the Philly show, so I'll definitely be able to see you in action
Hey,
there. For anyone that's watching this, I mean, you can go up and down the East Coast. That's where you guys will be traveling and whatnot. If you don't live on the East Coast of the United States of America, that's what planes are for. That's what cars are for.
that's
Find
right.
your
I
way
love
there.
that.
Exactly. As we start to wrap this up, because it is the last match, I want to ask you, what's your favorite like retirement match of a pro wrestler, a last match, if you will?
Hmm. Gosh, I don't know. There's so many. Since I mentioned Ric Flair, I think that there's such a beautiful story. Obviously, I have a connection to HBK from working at NXT. I think that the story that was told with Rick in WWE at WrestleMania with Shawn Michaels, that's just one that just stays forever. And then you look at Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, like it's just there's so many beautiful stories that are told in wrestling. And so it's hard to say which one's particularly my favorite. Maybe the common denominator here is HBK because he's like a father figure to my husband and so close to my family. But I don't know. Those are two that really stand out to me at the moment.
See, I was also going to say Ric Flair, but I'm talking about his last match. The
Last,
one
last
he
match.
was
We're taking it like
75 years old.
15 years later from
Yeah.
what was like the WWE retirement,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I'm talking about the last ever one, the one in Nashville. I went to it. Everything that happened just had me terrified the whole time. And luckily, he was all good at the end.
And
But
you know, with
that
Rick,
match
you
was
never say
insane.
never, right?
Never say never at all. Like you could also wrestle. Never say never. It's possible.
You never know. Maybe
We'll
the
see.
last match will give me the bug, and then maybe I'll become a wrestler. I joked with my kids and my husband that I already have a persona built in. I would be the jewelry girl because I own my own jewelry business as well. So who knows? You never know, right?
You never know. McKenzie, where can I find you on social media? You've been very gracious with your time. Where can they follow you? I'm assuming they already do if they're watching this, but in case they aren't, where can they follow you all over?
I'm McKenzie N. Mitchell on Instagram, on Twitter. I think I'm McKenzie N. Mitch. They wouldn't have enough characters. There's not enough characters for me to be McKenzie N. Mitchell. So I'm McKenzie N. Mitchell basically all through my platforms. My YouTube channel is McKenzie N. Mitchell as well. Threads with McKenzie Mitchell is my new show, and it's been really exciting and just so fun to get to unveil some of these untold stories. So that's where you can find me.
Amazing. Thank you so much. As an aspiring wrestling interviewer to talk to one of the GOATs in the game, it's always
Oh, thank
appreciated.
you.
Of course. No, thank you very much. Guys, my name is Malcolm. This is Muscle Memory, and we're out.